Am I the a-hole for refusing to change my son's name for being the same as X's late child, who might have been mine? I'll try to break it down. I, 28 male, was with my ex-girlfriend for 2 years. We broke up in 2016 when I found out she's been seeing other guys behind my back. Around that time, she found out she was pregnant, but obviously there was doubts if I'm the father. I refused to be involved unless I knew for sure the baby was mine, but we never got confirmation. It was a stillbirth, and fortunately, I never got to know who the poor boy's father was. The thing is, she named the baby after me. That was something I wasn't comfortable with, since we still didn't know if he was mine or not. But I tried to understand she was grieving a baby, and myself too, sort of, in a way. Haven't spoken to her in years. I'm with my fiancé now, and we're about to have our first boy in a couple months. She wants our son to be junior, and that's what we've said to some friends. No one has a problem with it, except my ex, because she found out through some friends that I still talk to. She's pissed that I would even think about naming my child this when that's our son's name. First off, I told her we never got that confirmation, so stop saying he was my son. Also, this is the name we decided to give our child and not going to change it. My family, well, really just my brothers, think I'm being way too insensitive about this with her. Because she lost a child, it is likely not easy seeing me start a family with someone else, while also giving them the name of her dead baby. It's not like we're in each other's lives, so really how would that impact hers at all? Unless she just stalks me and my family. Well, now it's like we're being a-holes for not wanting to change our son's name for my ex, and she's telling everyone who will listen about this. Wanna be clear here, am I being an a-hole? Now for the top comments. Context. Not an a-hole. If this ex isn't actively involved in your life, I see no issues. If she is, you are reminding her every day of her loss. It depends on your relationship with the ex. Like I said, we're not in each other's lives. So she cheated, got pregnant and didn't know whose it was, didn't respect that you said you wanted to find out if the kid was actually yours, and she named it after you anyway without your consent? I'm sorry, where do you think in this situation at all you are the a-hole? Named a stillborn child as well, in which case it doesn't even make it onto any official paperwork. Not shaming those who do, I understand it can be a form of closure. But she didn't have any chance to get to know the baby with that name. It almost sounded like she told Opie she had named the baby after him way after the fact. Name your child Junior, and block your ex. Tell the mutual friends to shut their traps or end the friendship. Not the a-hole. This is the most insane not the a-hole baby name situation I've seen posted. Not the a-hole. I am sorry she had a stillbirth. It must have been very traumatic. She named the baby after you without your input or any verification regarding the baby's paternity. You've moved on with your lives. Why your mutual friends need to keep her updated on your life is beyond me. Either they just do or answer her questions. Your relationship with her is over. It was over before the stillbirth of her child. While she may consider naming your firstborn after you selfish or insensitive, I don't think it should stop you. Apart from a few mutual friends, you live completely separate lives and have no contact with each other. You and your partner have picked out your baby's name. It's no one else's business but the two of you. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my son the money I saved for his college fund? My son is 18 and is graduating high school. I started saving fund for him the day he was born. I always put a little bit in every week, as I do for my other kids as well. Over the years, I saved enough for him to go to college debt-free. He's always been a bright and hard worker. He ended up getting a full ride to his dream school. We are insanely proud of him. All was going well and he was happy and ready to accept. Until I mentioned that I will be able to use the money I saved for him on fixing up our home and putting the rest towards his siblings' funds. He got very upset at that and began to demand the money. I was caught off guard. I never expected him to react this way. Over the past week, he has been throwing tantrums, threatening to withdraw from his dream school and attend somewhere else. Last night, he came home and immediately started yelling at his little sister. He grabbed the plate of food she was eating and threw it across the kitchen. She ran to me crying. He came into the room, and when he saw me holding her, he said, "Yeah, hold your favorite child and ignore me, you witch." He left soon after and I haven't heard from him since. He ignores my calls and texts. My husband is furious and says that my son needs to move out immediately. I asked a couple of family members and they said that I am in default because I promised him the money and now I'm keeping it. I just don't know what to do. I'm scared that he will reject his full ride and attend a different school and go into debt and then demand the money. I've also never seen him so angry or call me a witch. I'm crying right now because my husband is pissed at me and him, and I have no idea where my son is or what he's doing. Am I the a-hole for not giving him the money? Should I just give it to him? You're the a-hole. You saved the money for your son. Your son worked his butt off and got in on a full ride, but he actually lost his college fund. So his high achievements changed nothing about his own situation, and you're the one that benefits from them. If you're proud of him, you don't take money away from him when he succeeds. I'm sure he feels like he got punished for being bright and getting a scholarship. That's essentially the message you've sent. You're the one that gets paid when he does well. Edit. I just want to be clear here that I don't think giving him the money right now is the way to go. But it is so rare to have your parents save that kind of money for you these days. I can only look back at my life at 18, 20, 22 and think how much of a difference that kind of money could have made in getting started. He may want to take an internship and need some cash to support himself, or he may want to go to graduate school, or he may want to buy a house. I think those are worthwhile uses of that money if it was truly intended for your son. I wish this was higher up. On top of that, what if he decides to go to grad school? What about housing, food, textbooks, etc.? All of that costs money, and not all, even full ride, scholarships cover housing too. Most of them just cover classes and stuff. But even if housing is included, textbooks are expensive as hell. And once again, grad school is also a thing. Everyone sucks here. You make a promise to a child, so the child works hard on the understanding that you'll fulfill the promise. In doing so, they get a full ride to college. Great. But instead of saying you'll use some of the money to help him get through college for the things not covered by the scholarship like his phone and car insurance, etc., and keep the rest of it for if he wants to go to grad school or if he changes his mind on his course, you take away the college fund safety net you've promised him for years. I don't know why you expect your hard-working child to feel grateful to you for punishing him for his hard work. Especially if you told him that he'd be debt-free after his college education. He's an a-hole for the violent reaction. But that overreaction makes me wonder what else you've been doing to make your son feel like he's playing second fiddle to his sister. That resentment does not come out of nowhere. A-hole. I can't believe I'm bothering to create a username and comment. Posts like yours make me so upset, even though I'm 30 years out of college. I would be upset if I was your son. He worked hard and you want to use the money that was meant for his future on your house and other siblings? It could absolutely go towards his grad school. It probably pushed your son a bit to work hard to make you proud. Your comment, even though this may not be what you meant, is pushing him out the door and saying that he is on his own. That is how I would feel. He's young and at a pivotal, emotional time in his life. You kind of suck. And by the way, I'd ignore the throwing around of the word entitled in other posts. A bit overused. Do these people even have kids? If you are truly proud of your kid and not a jerk, don't gaslight him after years of promising that money was put aside for him. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for kicking my pregnant sister-in-law out of my car for throwing my coffee out the window? I, male 29, am not a morning person. Like at all. That's why I work night shifts and sleep in the morning. Days ago, I got back from my shift and slept for an hour, then my fiancé woke me up asking me to drive her pregnant sister to the doctor's appointment at 10 a.m. I was tired and was supposed to be sleeping, but decided to do it. I drove over to sister-in-law's place and she sat in the passenger seat and started complaining about bad smell in my car. She said a pine tree air freshener in the rear view mirror had to go, so I removed it. She then said the pack of smokes was bothering her, but I wasn't smoking. I smiled and put the closed cigarette pack inside a glove compartment. A few seconds later, we were stopping at a traffic light when sister-in-law started itching her nose. I looked at her and asked what's wrong. She pointed at my coffee, looked disgusted, and said the smell was making her nauseous, and told me to throw it out. I refused because coffee is my fuel. I get horrific headache if I don't drink it. Also, I paid for it, so there was no way for me to throw it away. She suggested that I drink it all at once then, but it was too hot. I had to take little sips, like, normal people do. Otherwise, my whole mouth would be damaged. I covered the top as a solution for her, but she got mad and said I was ignorant to dismiss a pregnant woman suffering like that. I started moving, and a minute later I saw her grabbing my coffee and throwing it out the window. I shouted, "What the hell?" And she told me that I never listen. I lost it, y'all. I just pulled over and told her I've had enough of her crap and kicked her out. She got into a screaming match with me, calling me names and whatnot. She wanted to get back in, but I locked the door and drove away, leaving her shouting. I got back to my place and my fiancé was at the door looking pissed as hell. She said she and her mom were livid that I kicked my sister-in-law out over coffee and making her miss her appointment. She reminded me I was being a jerk to her. I cleared the air on what went down, and I was still wrong for what I did. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. I've been pregnant 7 times. You know what you do in this situation? I'm so sorry, but the smell of the coffee is making me sick, and I'm working so hard not to barf in your car. But it's touch and go. Is there any chance we can ditch the coffee and I'll give you $5 to get a new one after you drop me? Throwing someone's coffee out the window is appalling behavior, even when you're pregnant. There's no excuse for it at all. Also, if the coffee is still too hot to drink and full, it's incredibly dangerous to throw out the window. What if it hits someone or another car or bird? This is completely unreasonable behavior. Not today, Hall. First of all, I'm not sure why your fiancé thought it was okay to wake you up after 1 hour of sleep. Lack of sleep causes accidents. Her sister probably knew about the appointment for a while. Should have found another solution. The sister-in-law being pregnant does mean you can be a peach for people who are doing you a favor. She threw the coffee out, you threw her out. Makes sense to me. She wouldn't have missed her appointment if she planned better or just behaved like an actual human. It happens a lot with her family. They constantly ask for me to drive them places. Why can't your fiancé take her sister to the appointment when you are sleep deprived? I can only sympathize about the air freshener as they are made with toxic chemicals that can cause headache, allergies for many, etc. The sister-in-law is an obvious a-hole for throwing out the coffee. But your fiancé's even bigger a-hole for feeling so entitled that you drive her sister to the appointment when you are sleep deprived. And why can't your fiancé take her or sister's boyfriend/husband, etc.? It's not even your job. My fiancé doesn't drive for medical reasons. Then your fiancé should not go around volunteering you for this. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for backing out of agreement to babysit for a single mom after she lied about her severely disabled, wheelchair user, 11-year-old son? I, female 19, started working as a babysitter recently, as I do during this time of year every year. I received a call from a single mother wanting me to babysit her kids while she goes to work from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I met up with her. I always first meet up with parents and see where they live and how many kids they have, etc, etc, etc. But I found what she told me a bit strange. She said she has been desperately looking for a babysitter who is willing to babysit her kids, but couldn't find one. I mean, the area is full of babysitters available. Her house was close enough and the money is good, so I was kinda confused by her statement. She introduced me to her 2 kids, 7 and 4. They were super nice and polite. We talked about schedules/routine/their regular rules, and we agreed on almost everything. First day of job, I arrived at her place at 7:30, and I was puzzled when I saw a kid in a wheelchair. I asked who he was, and she said that this was her severely disabled 11-year-old son. I asked if she was expecting me to look after him too, and she said he was part of the deal, but he wasn't. I didn't know about him and did not think I was going to have to care for a disabled child. She told me I was overreacting and gave me a list of duties, such as changing him and feeding him at certain times. But I freaked out and I told her no. I'm not capable of caring for a disabled 3rd kid in the house. We did not agree on that. I'm just a babysitter, not a carer, which what he needs. She said she wouldn't be worried as long as I'm an adult. Besides, that is like caring for an infant, and asked me if I had never changed a diaper before. But this is different. This is completely different. I blatantly said that this doesn't work for me and decided to not babysit for her. She got upset with me, saying I can't back out of an agreement now after I let her on, and she thought she chose an adult for this job, but I was being unreliable. But she initially lied and hid her 3rd son who's disabled and needs special care, and then expected me to go with the flow? She said that I should at least try for a week till she's got a willing babysitter because she can't leave her new job and stay home with the kids. She begged me to stay, even offered more money, but I decided to leave. I got home and my parents asked me why I left my new job. I told them what happened, and my mom looked dumbfounded, saying I put that lady in a rough place by basically bailing on her when she was counting on me. What? Lol, no. Why would she think that? She went on about her being a struggling single mom trying to make things work, but I was acting cowardly and selfish and short-sighted. I asked Mom, "Are you serious?" And she responded by asking me to put myself in her shoes. But she wanted me to care for a severely disabled child, and I honestly got scared. This is a huge responsibility legally. Morally, it was a jerk move for just quitting without giving her a chance to find a replacement, and she kept calling for hours. Am I the a-hole? Definitely not the a-hole, and she knew exactly what she was doing. Care like that is a lot and costs a lot more, and she was lying to rope you into doing something you neither wanted to do nor are qualified to do. That's like hiring someone to load lorries, and when they get there, telling them they'll have to drive them as well. But I don't have a license for one. Oh well, you're gonna have to now. No, that's not how it works. Yes, she can't find a babysitter because she keeps lying to them. Exactly. My mom looked dumbfounded, saying I put that lady in a rough place by basically bailing on her when she was counting on me. That lady put herself in a rough place by lying to her potential employee about what the job entailed and counting on guilt to prevent Opie from bailing on her when the truth came out. Fix that for your mom. Well, if it isn't the direct consequences of my actions. You are neither a jerk nor an a-hole. Not an a-hole. She bait and switched you. She's in a tough spot and all that, but her attempts to manipulate and bully you into caring for a disabled son despite your assertion you couldn't does make her one. Your mom is sympathetic, but to the wrong person. If she cares so much, she should babysit for the lady. Not the a-hole at all. You said yourself you're not a carer. What if something bad had happened? The kid's mom should have warned you beforehand. She changed the deal at the last minute. You're under no obligation to continue with a deal when they've changed the terms last minute. You did the right thing for you and for the kid. Your mom is just talking crap.